saying.
I know what you're saying. It's not you. It's just the magical letter.
The magical epistles of Carl.
It's just the magical letter that made everyone who read it stop doing what they're doing and go against what they originally wanted to do.
I hear they stashed the letters in a red violin somewhere now too. Like it's really sick.
They used the blood of T-Dog to write those letters.
I was going to say, I was hoping T-Dog was going to drive up in a bus.
That's why it meant so much. And that's why
T-Dog with a bus full of kids.
Oh, kind of do a flashback of Carl getting a feather out and dipping into a little vial to write the letter.
He knew this was going to happen, and he left the letter for Carl saying, "Use my blood to write these notes to stop the war," and it worked.
Let me ask a serious question. Why is Negan still important? The Savior's left. Like, what is he a symbol of at this point? Like, what does it matter that he's...
Well, in real life, we just like that actor so much we don't want him to leave. But in the world, I guess he's supposed to be a symbol for rebuilding civilization, right? Instead of going into...
They're do with him like Kirkman did in the comic, except for the fact that they don't have all the pieces to do like they did.
No, they don't have all the pieces.
It's too different. Yeah.
I was just waiting for T-Dog to drive up in that bus full of kids to pick up Rick. You know?
Oh, man.
That would have been icing on the cake.
When they get to the civilization, it'll be that T-Dog ran it. T-Dog is the head of that organization.
Can't wait for the statues they carve of him.
Oh, it's going to be awesome.
I'm sure, I just assume next week's episode opens on a close-up shot of the T-Dog statue, and they zoom out to see the paradise that they've made in the years since Rick's gone.
I'm pretty sure who's ever running this paradise that we're thinking of is Mark Hamill.
Is who?
Mark Hamill, because every time Jada's talked to whoever was on that radio, it sounded like Mark Hamill to me.
Okay. I hear he does the voice for Judith Grimes.
Did you know that? I heard.
He does all the voices.
All the voices.
But Michonne hands over the keys. She goes down to the Hannibal Lecter cage, and Negan kind of tries to bait Maggie. Goes into graphic detail about pulverizing Glenn's head and dares her to kill him because it was worth it, he says. But then she orders him into the light. She kind of realizes he was getting her to use that crowbar on his cranium so he could be with his wife, so he could be with Lucille, he says.
Step into the light, Negan.
And then we start dancing.
Yeah, the symbolism in this show is not subtle in any
No.
way.
That's my other issue. Like, I feel like the past few episodes have been very good because they kind of ditched the BS that I tend to call The Walking Dead out on as far as how they handle the symbolism, the characters talking only in like plot motivation and not like...
But it's all been about metaphor bridge, dude.
Well, yeah, this episode, that's what the problem is. It brings back all of those tropes that I don't like about the show that they found that way to ditch and like brought them back in full force for this very important episode.
It really feels like for this one episode, they went back to the original dude who does these kind of things all the time. What's his name? Gimple. Yeah, it feels like for this particular episode, they go back to all of that stuff that they said they're getting away from.
Oh, this had his friends all over it.
Yeah, because it, like not wanting to kill him and the way they do it and the metaphors and the, and the dream sequences.
Here, Angela King, hold my beer.
Yeah, it's like, let me finish, and then he did the thing himself.
In my notes for the Negan scene, by the way, blah, 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 Negan cries.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Maggie says, I came to kill Negan, and you're already worse than dead. And she leaves the prison. Michonne barely notices that there isn't any blood on her crowbar, and then Diana alerts them to the Rick emergency already in progress.
So this Negan thing, Russ, did you have anything more you want to say about the whole Negan stuff? We're here right now.
It goes against everything last week. I still do. I think.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't know about that, but...
of being a manipulator.
I'm very conflicted when it comes to this, because I don't see Negan as the kind of person that's going to break down to this degree.
Not yet.
And it seems a little odd to me. If he was playing her, then I totally get it. Like, I just kept waiting for him to try something or to do something. And if he was using this as a ploy, then I would totally get it. Like, I'd be like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Him breaking down like this, I just don't get. I mean, I guess maybe you can make the argument, well, it's been 18 months. He's basically been in solitary confinement for 18 months, and that'll kind of mess you up. But for him to be, like you're saying earlier in the season, for him to be in a better place at what appeared to be emotionally, I just don't see the breakdown to this level. When it was with Michonne and he went on about Lucille, I got it. Like, okay, that made sense to me. But this with Maggie just seemed to be way over the top.
It's a cheat. There's not enough, because we kind of had 18 months, and without having seen Jeffrey Dean Morgan in this position long enough, and God, I don't need Morgan anyway, but still, it's just a giant rush because it knows that the show's going to jump ahead several years next week. So you need to alter his character, and I understand that, but the arrival at how to do that just doesn't add up. Like you're saying, it doesn't make any sense that he would ditch the bravado that he's used as a cloak all of this time, because he's had these feelings, because they've always been underneath him. It's suddenly now is the time it gets dropped. No, it doesn't. The show hasn't done the proper.
I could only see this cloak drop if he had to save a kid. Yeah. And even then, but they have shown a thing with him where he's not exactly comfortable with killing kids. I mean, I'm saying it like if you're supposed to be comfortable with that. No, they're not saying it like that. But he seems to have they kind of imply that he seems to have a soft spot for children, supposedly because of the Carl thing. Right?
Except when he was going to beat him over the head with a baseball.
And again, it goes to the other guy. It goes to Gimple. My problem with Gimple doing some of these episodes where he goes back and forth on. He wants Negan to be dangerous, but he also wants to keep Negan and make him kind of an anti-hero. That's what I think they're going with.
Well, that's what they have to do, especially since now, especially because they got rid of Rick, so it's more so. Regardless of how the comic goes, where it's taking some turns. It's this approach to him now. It's like, okay, we need to keep involving him. But I'm not a big fan of how they've handled Negan on the show, and so it's like they keep taking these cheat steps to get you to understand a new side of him. But it's like, well, no, you can't take an actor like Jeffrey Dean Morgan who's very good, give him this very broad character, and then waste the opportunity to develop that character. Like it doesn't add up.
Worse that I did watch Talking Dead, and the way he was talking was like he didn't read the script for this week. Because the way he was talking, it was like, oh yeah, I was playing her. I was playing Michonne left and right. That's not the same person that sat there crying this week on this episode.
Now, I'm not saying this is the case, but take this into consideration, this possibility. Okay, Negan's not an idiot. I mean, he does have some street smarts and whatnot. Knowing Maggie's reputation and everything else, it's quite possible that he thought, if I look pathetic, she won't kill me. If I beg her to kill me, she won't kill me. So it's quite possible that he was playing her, but not playing her to make a move, but just to keep himself from getting killed by her.
I don't know about that.
Mary's score is ringing on my ears too hard to be like it's all a ruse. Like
exactly.
They want you to think of it as being as pathetic as possible.
Yeah.
I understand. It's very thin. I'm just saying that's a possibility.
You've already cracked through the ice. No, it didn't happen that way.
I mean, I'm talking here to Chubb Stradamus and Daryl, so who knows? Maybe I'm way off, but I can't quite.
I don't think by seeing the montages for the time, when they jump in time, I see a lot of him talking to the kid. They're going to be like, I can see them playing on that a lot to form that relationship with the kid where, yes, he's a dick, he's a murderer, and he's all those things, But how do you redeem him enough that people won't hate him so much? Have him save a child.
Which is what, I mean, if Carl was alive, that would play a bigger role, but he's not.
You're absolutely right. You heard
it here first from Nicodamus himself. So when they all say, when he says next week, I told you so. Just remember
I foresee a lot of conversations like he had with Michonne. I foresee that being with Edith.
With Judith Grimes?
I mean, with Judith, yeah. I see that happening a lot.
I call her Judith Grimes. She has to say her whole name and say it twice.
Little ass kicker.
Anyway.
Little ass kicker,
yeah. I wonder if Daryl will call her that now.
I hope so.
That would be a nice callback.
It would.
She's from too. She's in like the adult one. She's go on.
She's Ray, and she's young Ray.
Young Ray, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, you know what it is.
Yeah, you know what it is.
Drink.
Rick continues to lead the herd down the road. He's trying to remain conscious. When he next passes out, he's in the back of Herschel's barn.
What?
And I was a little verklempt at Scott Wilson. I mean, since he passed away. I love him. Granted, it's like, I have the same issues you guys all have in these flashbacks and what have you. But to see Scott Wilson one more time in this role
still makes me smile when I see him.
Yeah,
and he's clean shaven too. Like he's last we saw Herschel, he's rocking a little more Santa Claus than normal. But like here he's this pure form. It's got the hokey Hallmark movie lighting behind them both. It's like okay, like emotionally, it's easy to trigger things as far as like there's a bittersweetness to what's going on.
I'm good with him being if he could have. I'm cool if he could have been the one leading him throughout the. If he had flashbacks of him throughout the show, I would be a lot better with him.
I made the joke while we were watching it that it's the farm that all the old dogs go to. No, your dog didn't pass away. Just took him out to the farm.
Yeah.
Herschel's farm. A place that's been known for how well it stands up under pressure.
Right, and burning down. His old friend reassures him he doesn't have to worry about Maggie. He doesn't have to concern himself with keeping his family together. Maggie was getting stronger. And then in a subsequent reverie, Rick finds himself in a landscape that was corpses as far as the eye could see, including Jesus and Rosita. Definitely had some stand-ins there for Beth and Carl. I guess they'd be lions because they weren't really standing. But Sasha rises from the corpses to tell him that it's okay that everybody died because you did your part like I did mine like the others before us.
All right.
My notes here, I have Herschel shaven, abstract dead stuff, and then Sasha question mark?
Who you again?
Before he wakes up again, Sasha says he wouldn't find his family because they weren't lost, and you are not lost. So he snaps back to consciousness and he finds himself at the campsite near the bridge. And the herds are converging on him. He leads them to the bridge, only to collapse and to be saved by Michonne and Daryl and company. They're reunited with he's happy to be reunited with his family, but his significant other insisted they fight to carry on. It's not over. She said, we don't die.
We backtrack a bit. We get Rick he comes across the whole whatever the hell happened last week with Carol in the group. Like he comes across the remains of that site where there are people dead, walkers around.
Right.
What the hell happened there? I have no they got in a fight and then nothing. We never know. Apparently.
Yeah, I don't know either. That's why it feels like a Gimble episode.
It feels like we missed an episode. It feels like there should have been an episode in between this.
This happened last year during the war. Like there are points in some of those episodes where it feels like they didn't have time, so it feels skipped.
This part has been edited for time.
Yeah, remember we were talking about a dumpster Glenn episode. Between that and when we finally saw what happened to Glenn, he lived. We had wasn't the Morgan episode? Wasn't that the one that's between that? Which is one of the best episodes of Walking Dead. It seems like we missed one of those. Like we were due for all right, Rick's gone for a week. He's on rebar somewhere. Let's hear more about Negan. I guess if we're gonna do something with him. Let's hear more about what's going on with Carol and the Saviors. Like I get that there's immediacy to what's happening because there's Walker hordes on the way, but it's like
I bet it was bad planning on their part. But if they could have gave me maybe some more Negan time, seeing Negan where he is as a person compared to the other people that are around him every day.
Hell, if you want to give us a stupid bearded Negan prequel episode like The Governor or something like that, and see what's going on before that.
Okay.
I don't want that.
No, I don't want that. But it's that's something at least too. Like if you're going to try to force on me this idea of who Negan suddenly is, at least that's something. Maybe at the same time clear up whatever the hell happened with Carol last week. But it's like okay.
I would prefer Negan talking to Rick a little bit more and maybe showing that Michonne has been talking to him. Little by little, telling him about what's been going on. Maybe some of that,
like Rick having fever dreams while stuck on rebar of the various conversations he's had in between, rebuilding the communities. Like any of that.
Because the need to show Negan always feeling like he is on top. Like when he talked to Rick, it was like it's all gonna go to shit. Like why would he still sound like that if he's that broken? He did not seem broken until just when we saw him in this episode. And I know they wanted to be like, again, it feels like a Gimple thing. Oh, we're tricking you, the audience. It's gonna be a surprise when he breaks down because you thought he was Negan, like evil Negan who's in control and he's gonna jump at her and he's gonna try to get out. But no, he's broken Negan. But you haven't earned the broken Negan. So it doesn't feel right. It feels off.
That's a weird sentence. You haven't earned the broken Negan.
You got to earn the broken Negan.
So after they assure him that what he sees and feels is real, she tells him to wake up and blah! This is just a big fake out.
Yeah. Which I was happy. I was happy that was a fake out because they're all storming the bridge. It's like okay, come on, super happy ending. No, please.
Yeah, it was a little too convenient, but it was still kind of a nice.
It was a cute scene. No, I did feel good about it. I mean, it was a cool little, scene of them working together. Like if we had gotten time, like if Rick didn't die in the middle like this or whatever, and we have gotten time for them to kind of get their shit together on their own, and then they come together and do this, and Rick can die. I think I would have felt a little bit better about it.
The sloppiest zombie version of Bridge on the River Kwai ever. And if you've seen that movie, you'll get that reference.
Yes, you will.
It's an 5 hours. Movie.
It's 5 hours.
It's a perfect film.
It's not 5 hours.
10?
No, 10.
Anyway.
You're killing me, man.
Because 3 of those hours are just William Holden just hanging out. Like, I escaped. Whatever. I'm out of here.
I'm good.
Rick leads the herd to the bridge, but the bridge holds. It's stronger than he thought.
The bridge?
Is the metaphor strong enough to hold?
Yes.
He's probably like, I told you, MFR. I told you.
It holds.
So instead, he goes all Michael Bay.
He signals for his family not to try to save him, but when Walker knocks over a box of dynamite, he shoots the explosives and sends the bridge up in flames. Because that's how dynamite works.
Yeah.
That's where we keep the dynamite, by the way, on the bridge.
You know what I did like, and I kind of would have liked if they did more of it, is if they had created like a little force field around him with the group. Like every time a Walker, if they did a little bit more of the arrows hitting. Because I did like that. When every time when we get close to him, the arrow would hit him with the arrow. And then, they kept doing that and, like kind of protected him like that. That was a nice. Instead of some of the dream fever dreams, I would like to see a little bit more of that.
I like this whole last dance, and as far as Jesus, I hate this as a story device as far as what it's like where the plot's making this, as I've said, because it's just like he's a hero, yeah, great, nothing new. But as far as like the Rick and Daryl relationship, like seeing them exchange looks and seeing Daryl like just basically cavalierly shoot these arrows off, it's like these aren't hard shots for me, but like I can help my buddy. Like there's stuff like that where it's like okay, like yeah, you're doing this, and this is fine, and like Rick gets in a good kill, like he axes one in the face, like, oh, good job, Rick, like, pull your guns together for a second, nail that one in the face, and even gets a great like when he realizes the bridge is going to stand, he gives a great like, are you kidding me, kind of look on his face to the like the horde of zombies. It's pretty classic Rick Grimes, which I enjoy.
Or even if Maggie had to decide between killing Negan or helping Rick, and she made a decision to help Rick, that would have been something different. Like it would have shown some kind of growth or whatever with that character. Like it's not like it would have been more of you have to concern yourself with what's going on now, as a turn instead of sitting in the past and trying to just get revenge. Like what are you going to do? What kind of what kind of person are you going to be in this world? Like that would have been something instead of the thing we got. It's just I don't know.
Yeah. I'm glad you guys are all on the same page with me on this being disappointed.
There's a lot. I think I'm the lone dissenter.
Yeah, there's a lot more. It's a bridge of size. Sean and Daryl, real from the Lost. The chopper arrives a ways down the river to pick up Anne/Jadis, but who should she spot on the embankment? Rick Grimes, alive,
with a big sign that said convenient.
Yes.
So just to name everything that happened here. So Rick's on a bridge. He's not even on the bridge, right? He's kind of away from the bridge if you want to look at it.
Right.
He shoots dynamite, which as we know blows up dynamite.
Blowing up real good.
It's like when you shoot a gas tank from a car.
Yeah.
And as we know, when explosions happen, they don't push you like way back, let alone obliterate you because it's an explosion. But they apparently suck you into the river in front of you. So then he floats down this river, does not succumb from any wounds involving explosions, a rebar piercing through him, or just basically drowning. Manages to wash a punch shore right at the most convenient time possible where Anne is broken down somewhere nearby. Spots the like mud-covered random man that must apparently look like Rick. All at the same time that the helicopters are arriving on the scene, unbeknownst to anybody else because helicopters are super stealthy.
Right.
They're very quiet too. Nobody can hear that at all.
Watch Blue Thunder.
The CIA uses. That's what it is.
Yeah,
and he's a B apparently. He's a big B. So that works everybody's favor. I don't know what B is, but
you promised us an A.
Don't trust the B in part of 23.
That you gave us
I have a theory on this. I'm thinking that it's simple as A stands for alpha, B for beta, and that the reason that she set him as a B was they didn't want. I don't know. Just for some reason that maybe that would help convince them to take him with her. I don't know, but because I just get the impression A's are alphas and B's are betas. So
perfect specimens.
Yeah, like
that's the only thing I can think of. It had to be you give us a healthy specimen, and B is one that's damaged.
That makes sense too. Yeah.
Okay.
I suppose.
Then that means they'll be running tests.
I don't need to comment on the 3 movies we're going to get to explain whatever the hell's going on.
I have to movies to learn what an A and B are because come on.
Maybe there'll be a Walking
Dead's
A and B explanation episode or something.
What if T-Dog was spiritual and he was mad?
Oh, there you go.
And he grabbed Rick and caught him in time and then
caught him in time
and put him on that bridge just when he knew Jada would look. And then that's all the convenient things you've seen, like the dumpster. He saved Glenn at the last minute, put Glenn
like
under
a
the
guardian
dumpster.
angel. Oh,
yeah, it's like a guardian angel to save everyone.
Okay, let's go to the
tone.
Because you tend to look at things pretty logically. Does any of this stuff with the bridge make sense?
As far as what?
We know the dynamite.
The dynamite going off, Rick drifting downriver just to where the helicopter was.
No, but I look. We see all the time on on the show that crazy convenient things happen. Like people can wander off in a direction and come across people that have gone in some direction days or even weeks ago, and they would come across each other for some bizarre reason. Like we see that all the time. Like
not just this show. That's
weird coincidences. People meet up with people out in the open, even though given the vast distances of point A to point B, it seems highly unlikely. It's like 2 satellites colliding on their way to and from the moon.
3 seconds turns into 20 when people need to get away.
Yeah, highly unlikely. So again, as soon as they show Jadis in the car and then doing her thing, I'm like, oh, okay, this is how Rick gets out. Like to me, it was.
That's why I was last week. Because I thought like if they cheat, Jada, they need this. Or they have this special organization, right? That they need people, right?
So.
Perfect sense.
Yeah, and given that I saw the preview last week for this week where Rick was walking on the bridge, I'm like, okay, he's going to fall in and she's going to conveniently find him. So, again, if this was something the show never did, I think I would be like, okay, this is complete bullcrap. But given that they do this all the time, this is just another example of stuff they do. Given where they wanted him to be, like, I guess this made the most logical sense from
because there's no way he would, if he was alive, there's no way he would, and able to get back to the group, he would never leave the group. I mean, that's his child is there. Like, the woman he loves and the child is there. There's no way that he would logically, he either has to be dead or taken somewhere where he can't get back to them. Yeah. It's the only way. There's no, that's what we talked about. Like, there's no other explanation for how you can have him not come back to this group.
And I think they should have. I think shooting those scenes was fine, but don't use them in this episode. Let us think he's dead, and then when the movie happens, start it off with a flashback of this time and show this whole thing with Jadis. Because
but then we can't announce that the show. We can't announce the AMC initiative.
They could still announce movies. They could still announce that Andy Lincoln is involved in them, but they don't have to. I mean, they give away their hand all the time now. It seems like. And on top of that, too, I agree with the whole thing what Russ was saying about they didn't do this all the time. The thing is a lot of the audience was just now coming around to forgiving Walking Dead about the Glenn and the dumpster thing, and then they do this. I mean,
I don't know about that.
I'm just based off message boards and stuff I'm on, and I know it's the internet, but still, it just seems like people.
Because I'm about ratings. I'm just, like, you've still been losing ratings. I mean, that's forgiveness. Forgiveness is you still watch the show. Like, if you stop watching the show and you're losing ratings, then that's not. But
I'm just saying the whole thing. It was just very cheapened, and it for me it did reopen a little bit of the way. I mean, I was way past the whole thing with Glenn and the dumpster, but I mean, it just.
Yeah. I'm so close to getting this recap done.
Okay. Do it. Go for it.
I'm so close.
Tell us to shut up and just go for it.
Hey, you're the captain, Jim.
Oh, you wish. Anyway, so what on all their helicopter stuff? We fast forward a few years. You can tell because the trees grow from scene to scene. And then we're joined by newbies Magna, Yumiko, Connie, Kelly, and Luke from a bunch of walkers. Just when it seems especially dicey for the group, a young girl's voice calls out, "Come this way, clear." And the quintet introduce themselves. They politely ask what the rescuer's name was. And the girl picks up Carl's hat, puts it on her head, and says, her name is Judith Grimes.
Judith Grimes.
Lightsaber comes out.
And the barrel pulls out, she shoots, and the Bond theme plays.
Yeah.
Da-da-da-da.
That's right.
So let's all say it together now. WTH. WTF.
Wait, what did she say her name was?
Judith
Grimes.
Oh, okay. I thought it was Carl 2.0, so okay.
Oh, you.
But anyway, that was the episode.
That's all?
That's it.
Yeah, there's not much to talk about because not a lot happens.
Yeah, we didn't really cover too much.
Yeah.
That was season 9, episode 5. What Comes
I
after.
was genuinely surprised with the time jump.
I did
not see that coming.
too.
I thought, okay, they did one this season. I totally did not see another one coming.
What's the
So
thing?
when they did, I was pretty blown away. And given it was nice, and given that we knew this was Rick's last episode, that there was something in there that was surprising. Like to me, that was nice to actually watch the episode thinking I knew everything that was coming, and then to see that, I was like, wow, they're being that.
And it's a way to get away from having like a bunch of the rest of the seasons having sad episodes of everybody mourning Rick. Again,
Don't you want that though? Like
No.
not if you already just had a bunch of episodes of you
We
mourning
just had a whole
Carl.
episode of like dream sequences of Rick, passing on to the other side and everything's okay. I mean, that's good. I don't need that. I don't need,
I
5
hear-
episodes of eulogies.
Yeah, I'm here or there on that. Like, it can go either way with me, but it's like, it's more of, I'm annoyed about the whole killing off Carl thing because it really kind of took the wind out of doing this more with other characters. And so you lose the lead character with Rick, and it's like, well, how do you, what are you supposed to work
If they were going to do a 6-year time jump, there's no reason from a storytelling point they should have killed Carl.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like that's the one thing of all of this.
I can see his father being so pissed when they watch this because if you tell us the reason you're doing this is so that you could the character's aging and all that, and then you go and do what they just did, it's for other reasons. Like,
well, and I think an older Judith is cool, but it's still like a 9-year-old Judith. It's not like a 17-year-old Judith. Like if that's where the way they wanted to go, they should have just done like a 10-year time jump or something like that. But to do 6 and then kill off Carl, like if they felt like Chandler Riggs wasn't up to par from an acting perspective, or he would want too much money, then fine. Then cast another actor that's in their mid to late 20s that can come across as 20 that looks kind of like Carl and maybe has better chops. Fine, and I think it would have fit more. Now the rest of the season could be completely amazing, and this isn't going to kill my enjoyment of it. But there's parts of it that just are like, if the business dictated them killing Carl, then I think they made a bad business decision. I think they sacrificed story to either prove a point or to put their foot down or whatever the reason. I mean, obviously, if they're throwing as much money as they're throwing at Norman Reedus and at Melissa McBride, they could have gotten Carl off for a hell of a lot cheaper than $350 or $300K an episode. I mean, I don't know what they were paying that kid.
I think it's more than that, though. I think there was a deeper reason for the.
oh, for sure, it has to be.
Because I will tell you, running around with Rooker and whatnot, earlier in the show's run, I got to know Bill Riggs, his dad, a little bit, and I mean, he would talk about fighting with the showrunners and everything about Chandler's education and everything. And now he's about to go off to college. I'm thinking there was probably negotiations around his schedule and college and all of that stuff, and AMC just couldn't come to terms with it. Is what I'm thinking.
I completely agree as far as how that kind of thing goes, and it's if it works in the human being that is Chandler Riggs' favor, as far as hey, he gets to get a decent education and not suffer similar fates as some of the lesser when it comes to child actors. Well, not good on him. At the same time, it doesn't end up helping the show as far as the writers are just in this weird back wall, and it sucks for how they have to figure out how to do with it. Also, Riggs is not the best actor, but like I mean, all of these things, it creates another hole in how to handle the rest of the series from then forward. And Andrew Lincoln's like, I'm out, you guys too. So it's like, oh boy, there's a lot that they're trying to contend with. And yes, I see that that's a difficult thing to deal with, and they're doing the best that they can. And I get the work that's being done to make all of this work. And now we're in we're doing like a soft reboot by moving things up a few years. I get all of the things that need to go into making this work, so the rest of The Walking Dead, the 10-year plan they have can make sense. But as this episode goes, I think it sucks. I think it's a way to send off its character, and I think the lead up to it has been flawed as far as who's around and who's not around.
And it almost feels like they knew people would be angry by how they're going to do this episode. So it's kind of like, let's just take the medicine and we'll jump it. We are going to jump it in time, and maybe they'll come back, or they'll forgive us enough when they see the progression of the next rest of the season.
And Aaron, don't knock Chandler so much. Come on. He's awesome, just like everybody born on June 27th. He's awesome.
Well, before we get to our busters, although we kind of telegraphed what we thought of it, does somebody want to talk about our sponsor for me, please? Since I do everything else.
Our sponsor for this episode of the Walking Dead TV podcast is Discount Comic Book Service. It is the beginning of the month, so the November solicits are up. You can check them out. As I've mentioned before, I love the Excel spreadsheet because I'm that kind of a nerd. It's just nice to just kind of tick off the boxes and get your total and submit it up and wait for your goodness to come, and all that stuff is great. Also go to InStockTrades.com if you just want to catch up on, especially with all of the changes coming to the show and new characters coming in that have comic counterparts and storylines that have been alluded to, even by Mr. Gimple himself. It's a great time to catch up on the trades, the hardcovers, the Omnibuy, the compendium, however you want to consume The Walking Dead. The discounts are excellent on InStockTrades.com, much better than Amazon. Order more than $50, you get free shipping, and the books will come in pristine condition, unlike the dime-size object in the mammoth box that you'll get from Amazon, and your stuff will rattle and be all dinged up, and your corners will be all funky as it sits on your shelf. So yeah, definitely check out InStockTrades.com, where they will pack it in that really cool form-fitting foam and put it in a box and send it to your door. So definitely check out InStockTrades or DCBService.com. We thank them for their support of The Walking Dead TV podcast.
Yes, their next order is scheduled to be delivered tomorrow.
So I just got my copy of X-Men Grand Design, Second Genesis from them, so very pleased. Okay, gentlemen, let's bust out with the busters. Let's go alphabetically. We'll start with Aaron.
I didn't like this episode. I would give it 2.
No.
I think beyond like the good that you get from seeing some old friends and whatnot, the value that's added there is minimal. Like there's a nostalgic aspect to seeing like Rick go the dead out to the dead, or Beware the Dead or outside, whatever. The horse son going to Atlanta, things like that call back to some key moments from the show or whatnot. But the writing is it's so all over the place on how we want to handle what should be basically one of the biggest things that ever happens on The Walking Dead, because you're taking the lead character away. And instead of capitalizing on that opportunity to show us something that's new with Andrew Lincoln and Rick Grimes and like what all this means or what he's taking away from his world as he supposedly dies, it doesn't anything with it. It sends him out in a way that's nothing all that meaningful beyond they blew the bridge, and it has so little offer. It just feels like a bump in the road to lead us to the rest of the season, which I hope is good. Like I hope that this all leads to the season so far has been very good up until this point, so I hope this is just a speed bump. But no, it just I feel bad. Like I'm not the biggest Rick fan, but I feel bad for the people that are huge Rick fans on the show that this is how their hero went away. I think there's so much more they could have done. Instead, they just kind of crapped it. So 2 busters.
Okay, Daryl.
Best show of the season. I loved it. Episode, everything worked. It ended the way that it should have ended. I give it 5 out of 5.
Okay, now that Daryl's evil twin has spoken from the alternate mirror universe, how about Daryl himself? Tell us what it's about.
All right, 2 out of 5. I know what it is.
Do you know what it is?
Yeah, we already explained why. That's why, so I'm not even going to waste any more breath on that one.
Rich.
Yeah, so I'm just kind of looking because I wasn't sure if I was going to make it this week, so I sent you guys my review. But I'm kind of looking at it. I want to go over all this because we went through some of it in the episode. But
speech.
I cannot give this a Buster rating because I both loved and hated this thing at the same time.
Oh wow.
I mean, first of all, the whole Rick's final episode thing really rubs me the wrong way. I mean, it cheapened everything about Andrew Lincoln leaving and everything. We talked about like the crazy horse and just all these other scenes that just didn't make a lot of sense. But there were things in those scenes like, yes, Shaniqua Martin Green really didn't fit into that so much, but I enjoyed seeing her again, even though I do see her on Star Trek, like Daryl said. There was a lot, because everything about that scene I felt was a little cheap, but I did like seeing her. And that's kind of throughout the entire thing, the episode, how I felt. There were a lot of scenes, it's like, God, this is bad. But there were things in the scene I'm like, but I like that. So I was really back and forth on this. I felt that they could have had more build up around the Maggie Negan stuff over the course of the 4 previous episodes instead of just her talking about it. Actually have that whole interaction between the two of them start earlier and not drag it out, but give more development to what is going on. I thought the bridge explosion was cool, but again, like we just talked about, the whole thing with Jadis finding him and he doesn't die. I don't know. I just had a problem with that. I did, however, have a pretty good smile. I really liked the 3-episode preview thing or whatever it is. As soon as I saw Dan Fogler, I like that guy. He's hilarious. I was excited to see him. I don't know if he fits The Walking Dead so much, but
I would argue I like him more in the drama that I've seen him do than the comedy. So like, oh, cool, he's here.
True. But on top of that, though, they introduced a couple of comedic actors on Fear this last, and then they worked out very well, I thought. But everything about the preview, I like seeing Carol as older gender bent Legolas. I liked, the thing. I liked everything with the Judith stuff. I'm really excited about that. Given that we don't have Carl anymore and some other thing, I think that they could really do some good with it. And I'm excited. So I'll give the preview for the next 3 a 5 out of 5 Busters, but I can't even rate this episode because it's just a mess.
Okay, Russ.
I'm going to go totally against the grain, and I'm going to give it 4 out of 5. I just really liked it. I thought the ending knocked it out of the park for me. That was what put me over the top. I think it was like a 3.5 before the ending, and the boldness and the way that kind of the ending happened with Judith coming on the scene to me is what put it over the top. But I was happy with it. I thought visually there was a lot of really cool stuff going on. We didn't talk too much about it, but that creepy scene that like reproduces Walking Dead 100 with all the dead bodies laying around in there, that just had a really cool look. And I don't know. I guess I just wasn't as harsh on the daydream stuff as you guys were. I get that. I think the criticisms were all valid, but I was fine with this. I guess I just didn't have the hard criticisms that you guys had with this one.
Well, let me ask a question. I'm sorry, we're the Buster race. I do have a question. I want to talk about this because it's a big episode. Are you satisfied with how they got rid of Rick on this show? Like, Rick's no longer going to be The Walking Dead. Are you satisfied with this is the way that we got rid of him?
Yeah, in that I would rather, to me, I think if they would have killed him, I think that would have just been a cop-out. For the actual specifics, I'm fine with it. I don't know how they would have done that. That would have truly been something that would have made everybody happy, but I'm fine with it. Again, I guess, in the end, he kind of became Colonel Nicholson. Like, he literally blew up his own bridge. Spoiler for a 16-year-old movie.
But he wasn't like Colonel Nicholson wasn't like he was delusional. Like this was out of necessity. Like that's why he blew up the bridge. I know you're joking. It's just okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, it's fine. I think it was fine. He had.
What you saying, Russ? What you saying?
We have a whole episode of like Carl and these letters and this whole thing and like the various death sequences we've gotten for other major characters on the show. And do you look at this one as being like up to par with what's important for how the show handles its main characters and getting rid of them? Because that's what bugs me, and that's why I'm railing against this more than others.
No, you're right there. This show has had issues with how it gets rid of main characters. Is this ultimately how I wish it would have gone? No, but nothing really sticks out to me as a better way. I think in order for it to not just drag down the show and have them think that he's out there somewhere, they had to have made it appear to everyone else that he's dead, so that it just doesn't become a show about like, well, we're still looking for Rick, or we think he's out there somewhere.
I get that aspect for sure.
How could they have done it better? I don't know. I guess they could have engineered it in a way that made it more natural. How Jadis found him, I guess they could have done it in a way that some random group of people were to kidnap him, but they kind of set up this whole helicopter Jadis thing, and to not do something with it in a way that that storyline is not going to drag down the main show now. Like we don't have answers to who those people are, what their real motivation is, and what's really going on with them. But the fact that that's not going to be another element on the show moving forward, that's going to be handled somewhere else, frees it up for them to tell the kind of stories they want. I guess for me, I think I know there's a lot of people that really like Rick. He's their favorite character, and they're bummed to A, see him go, and then B, to see him go like this. For me, I like Rick as a character. I like him on the show. I think he's an important part of the show. But I think the show is so much more than him. And I think now that if they're gonna let him out, I think this was the best way to do it. In that everybody thinks he's dead, and we've jumped forward, so we don't have to deal with all the baggage. Now the show is really gonna go. I like the fact that they were going down this whole we're rebuilding society thing, and now they're gonna push that even more forward. And so I guess the hope of the future with this really is what, for me, I guess what really put me in a good mood at the end of the episode and really has me excited for what's to come. So it may be more. I think I'm putting a lot of weight on my rating of this episode on the technical side of it, like the actual look and feel and what Nicotero did with the characters that were brought in, and less on the actual writing and the story, and then more on the ending. I think those two things really tipped it over the top for me. I think you take those.
I'm sorry. I hear what you're saying. I promise I'll stop. We keep going with Busters. It's just this episode matters. That's why I'm digging into it a little bit. I hear what you're saying, and I agree with the idea of, especially with the hindsight that now we know Rick is going to continue being involved with Walking Dead in some capacity. With that hindsight, sure, the idea of the characters having a believable reason to think that Rick is completely gone, he's been blown to smithereens, which I guess makes sense. I get that. I get that the show needs to do something like that too. If they're not going to kill him off, they need to make it very much appear like he's dead to all of the characters involved. It's weirdly, I can buy into that more than I buy into Avengers: Infinity War, where it matters to the characters that everybody's gone, as opposed to what I think, because I think it's kind of a cheap way to end it. Regardless, I guess if Rick actually died, then there would be a bigger deal for me as far as how they chose to handle his death. But because they have this whole 3 movie thing coming out, I have to kind of accept that you had to do it a certain way. I'm just not a fan of how they did it, I guess is what it comes down to. But as far as what you're saying, as far as building the show from here, yeah, I get that, and I like that, and I do look forward to what the move is to do, everything coming next. Like, I appreciate as far as we don't have to deal with the Rick baggage and whatnot now because we moved past that based off this time jump.
I mean, I don't look at it from a perspective of, like, you guys are idiots because you gave it a 2. Like, I totally get it.
I'm not spiting you for liking it either.
I don't take it that way, but I don't want anybody out there to think, oh, he's just, he's a homer, and, he's on a Walking Dead TV show, so of course he's going to rate it high. I mean, there may be some of that, but I think in general, I think there were enough things I liked about this particular episode that, like I said, pushed. There's certain things I tend to be a little more technical in these things anyway. I mean, I like the craft of a lot of, when it comes to movie making and TV shows and filmmaking and things, I get a little nerdy about the craft side of it, and it's no secret that I've, the Nicotero directed episodes I've always had high praise for and said a lot of things. So when you take that into account, and then, like I said, the ending, I think for me that's just kind of what pushes a midland to mediocre episode into a solid episode for me.
And that's why I don't podcast with you guys for, because as opposed to writing about a show where I have to delve into certain things that matter to me as how I want to write about it, we can talk about these little details as far as the Evil Dead house or whatnot, and talk about how well done, how well put together the show is, which I do like to give credit to. I don't like to just come down on the show for whatever problems I find, but I like to give credit to the fact that it looks great. It's a great looking show. There's a lot of good stuff in it. The actors do their best with what's given to them. There's so many things to admire about this. That's why we do this podcast. There's stuff to like. It's not just a downer show all the time.
Yeah,
I think I read a comment on Reddit earlier this week, and I think it sums up, at least for me, and then probably a lot of Walking Dead fans now, and it simply just says, I hate this show, and I'm never watching again. I can't wait for Sunday. I love this show.
Well, it's kind of like what I was going to say with my Buster ratings. Imagine a giant blackboard full of like formulas, like math equations and stuff. You got Shane over Herschel divided by cheap out on Rick, multiplied by self-sacrifice on the bridge, and
I like
greater than like Russ said, the cool scene with all the it's just this giant equation with all the elements of this thing. And I'm trying to add it up and get like a single Buster rating. I agree with a lot of things that Aaron said. I also agree with some of the things that Russ said too. I mean, from a production standpoint, there's some really cool set pieces here. It was really cool to see Scott Wilson again and to see John Bernthal in the role of Shane, even though it was kind of a cheap out way to do it. It was kind of cheap to me that Rick didn't die after they've been teasing it for weeks and weeks and weeks. Nope, he's not gonna die. He's gonna go be in movies now. It's like wow, it's like a bait and switch.
They never said he's gonna die.
They said he's leaving.
All right, whatever. Okay, whatever, dude. Hey, it's my turn for Buster. Right?
Hey, if you can interrupt, so can I.
No, you can't. Get off my ship.
Yeah, Daryl and I have a black pass for interrupting people.
That's right. It's reparations.
It's okay for you to yell at the screen in the theater.
40 interruptions.
Is this what we're doing now?
that road.
Anyway, so I'm going to have to just go right down the middle and give it a 3 because there were things about it I was incredibly disappointed about. There were things about it I found very entertaining and fun. As I think I messaged to you guys, 80% of this is what I thought it was going to be, and 20% of it was what I didn't think it was going to be. As much as I hated the Rick Dream sequence stuff or whatever, I really liked the idea of the time jump and the new cast and everything. And really like hitting the refresh button on the show. I really am looking forward to that because it worked really well with Fear. Yep. Do something like that, and I'm hoping that it'll work here too. So I'm hopeful going forward. But as far as the season's concerned, this is definitely my least favorite episode of the season. And I totally get what Aaron is saying. This is the main character of the show. He's leaving, and they kind of cheaped out on the send off. So I'm going to just split it down the middle and just say 3 and erase my giant blackboard of theorem over here that I had to use. I
just imagine this like not DC New 52, but like a 52 the comic series style
exactly.
with all this craziness.
That was the metaphor I was going for. The Rip Hunter's blackboard in the
yes.
And then T-Dog in the middle when they don't say why.
Yeah, if T-Dog had shown up in a bus in one of Rick's dream sequences, bus full of kids or something, I'd give him this a 6 out of 5. But no, they did not.
It could be Rick Point, and
Rick Point.
we'll see what kind of time travel shenanigans get into.
Crisis on Infinite Ricks.
Okay.
I can't wait for Walking Dead Zombies, the spin-off of the series.
But who cares what we think?
Altman write that Crisis? Because I read that.
I don't know. Maybe you should write as a fan.
I mean, Kirkman wrote Marvel Zombies, so what if he did a spin-off of his own TV series?
Maybe. Or TV Rick could meet comic book Rick.
Yeah.
Rick of 2 Earths.
Like a Paul Abdul meets Cat type scenario where it's animated and live action.
Wow.
Sure.
I'd watch that.
Where are we going?
Anyway.
With this expanding universe, and not the movies, but I mean, other things are coming up with. I'd like to see what's happening in the zombie apocalypse on other continents.
He said that.
Well, I think that's their. I think
he literally said that. He literally just say that.
Cool.
I can't wait to see what Africa looks like in Atlanta. Oh, wait, I saw that in Black Panther.
Rick wakes up, goes for a drive. He sees Woody Harrelson digging through a hostess truck full of snowballs. But who cares what we think? Because we're just a bunch of blowhards who talked for 2 hours about an hour-long show. We have an incredible podcast group on Facebook. The Walking Dead TV podcast is what it's called. It's on the Facebooks. And every week we ask you to weigh in with your busters. And holy cow, did you this week? Holy moly. I better wet my whistle here before I begin. Also, in the Facebook group, you can read Aaron's written reviews of each episode of The Walking Dead at WeLiveEntertainment.com. There are links to that there. Also, whenever we find news, fun gifts, all kinds of stuff, it's always there on the Facebook group. So by all means, join that Facebook group and join the fun. We start out with Tracy Kramer Webanks, who says, I'm this level freaking out after putting up a gif of Jim Carrey losing his mind. So she must have been really freaking out. Or he. I guess Tracy could be a man or a woman.
Somebody stop them.
Somebody was freaking out. Yes.
The picture looks like a woman, so I would say.
Okay, I didn't enlarge the picture.
Let's stop bragging at this gender stuff, guys. Okay, everybody's everybody.
Aaron can be a girl's name too. Okay.
If you spell that way, sure.
Yeah. Brent Jones. I can't believe they did it. 6 exclamation points. 5 happy endings out of 5. I can't believe how excited I got they did this way. And hearing Gimple right now and Talking Dead has me even more excited. Great to see Herschel and Shane. Would have liked to have seen others, mostly Glenn, but it was pretty well done. I don't understand how he ended up on the river since he wasn't on the bridge. Yeah, we talked about that. But I don't care either. I also feel like Negan was faking to Maggie. I don't believe him. And I hate that we don't see the mourn Rick. They just skipped over that. So. Charlie Messing is kind of an emotional one here. I'm writing this with 10 minutes left in the episode. I can't watch anymore. I'm going to turn this off and I'm closing the book on this chapter of my life. Goodbye, AMC's The Walking Dead. As I turn off the TV, Rick is still alive, and I choose to leave the show before he's killed off. I know AMC's Walking Dead would never fake us out again and make us think a character we love died. So I will not finish AMC's Walking Dead Rick's final episode, which, by the way, could they show it in our face anymore? Which, why is there saying, what they're saying on Twitter, he's still alive? Mother effers, they did it again. Movies, turning on AMC The Talking Dead. Andrew's British. When did that happen? I imagine when he was born, Charlie. Judith is older now? Okay, yeah, 3 out of 5. Anyone else think that Sasha was meant to be someone else? Yes. All due respect, I don't think she or Rick were really that close. DeRay Irvin chimes in 5. I definitely needed a little ass kicker Judith to show up out of 5. My anxiety level never came down during this episode. I love the Rick and Shane scene the most. Seeing Herschel broke my heart. I'm beyond excited to meet the new characters and get into the Whisper story. I also enjoyed the callback to season 1 with the song Space Junk. The same song played when he was trapped in the tank. P.S. Carol has kind of a Lord of the Rings vibe going forward in those previews, and I'm here for it. Mary Becky also chimed in. Carol and Michonne look all kinds of badass. I love it. Kevin Berry, 3. Why not bring back T-Dog during the Rick flashbacks out of 5? That's right. Yes, thank you, Kevin. Exactly. The episode had some predictable moments, but I enjoyed it and excited about the time jump. Brian Arnold, 5 Andrew Lincolns out of 5. The last 5 minutes turned what I thought was only a halfway decent send-off for Rick into the most awesome episode I've ever seen in a really long time. I'm excited to see where things go from here. An amazing episode. Mike Jones wrote in, I decided to delete my post and not read it. Very frustrated over Rick's final episode, except these 3 more movies. Stop playing AMC and Gimple.
I read that. I'll butt in here. I wanted to just give Mike Jones a hug and just tell him, like, it's gonna be okay, man. Like, we'll get through it. It's gonna be all right.
It's cool, dude. Put on a Ghost album, you'll be good. I know he's a big fan of that band. Susan Monk, 4 Impossible White Man endings out of 5. Roller coaster of emotions on the show. The flashbacks are great. Love the edit from Shane in the patrol car to Rick in the cabin. Seeing Herschel was so sad, but Michonne at the bridge broke me. Negan had a great scene with Maggie in his basement cell in the best of all possible worlds. This would be JDM's Emmy nomination scene. I'm hoping we'll get some flashbacks to the time after the helicopter showed up, or at least some mention of our group wondering, WTF, a helicopter? Judith Walsh Grimes truly is a little ass kicker now. She was awesome. Looking forward to how they deal with this next bit of comic book storyline. Jason Graining, 5. Wake me up before you go-go's out of 5. So much to say about this episode. I enjoyed how they weave the fever dreams back and forth into the episode. I love seeing Shane and Sasha again. I nearly lost it seeing Herschel return, especially after hearing Rick's apology. I would have been fine with Rick going out a blaze of glory on the Rick Grimes Memorial Bridge, but I feel the fan revolt would have been too high for the show to recover from. A few questions. With the 6-year time jump, does that make Judith about the same age as Carl when all this started? I think Carl's a little bit older, I want to say. So I think he's a little bit older.
Carl was 11 when he started. And Judith, if you do the timeline, she's maybe 8 or 9. 8 or 9 is what I'm thinking.
Right.
Guys, putting aside the gender thing I just spoke about earlier, girls mature faster than boys, so...
Well, the 6-year time jump, the zombie apocalypse, she's been around for about 2 years, 2 and 3 years, something like that. So 6 plus 2 or 3 is 8 or 9.
Wow, math hurts my head. And does that mean they're ahead of us in terms of time? Am I the only one who wishes Rick's final words on The Walking Dead were, we found them together? Together! In closing, I couldn't take my eyes off the screen this episode. I hope the series can keep my attention like that in Rick's absence. Joe Powell wrote in 5. Carol now looks like old Katniss Everdeen, 5. Holy crap. Wanted to make sure I got the proper pause in there. Michael Santana, 5. It's raining flaming men. Hallelujah. Out of 5. Nice. Wow, fantastic episode. I feel dumpstered with the result. Damn you, internet. I was spoiled on that. But wait, there's more Walking Dead Rick movies. Now how much would you pay? I just wish they would just make a decision to have to do with milking this cow until dust comes out of the udders. Okay, with that rant over, I love the flashbacks of the departed characters. Bernthal's was the best, but the late Mr. Wilson's made me well up. Don't forget, we're going to get through this together, Daryl. He says it's done in your voice, so you want to give me together? Together. Thank you. Thanks, again. We love this podcast. Well, thank you, Michael.
That was a fun buster.
Yes, it is. Samantha Jackson, 4.5 fake deaths out of 5. Bonus points for Shane, but couldn't we got a Carl cameo? Yukiyoshi responds, no one promised he died. Just throwing that out there. Kampai. I'm sure I'll have more to say later. Perry B back, 5. I guess now we know why Rick never listens to anyone else, because when he does, it never works out of 5. Thanks, Daryl. You really think the bridge will go? Wow, what an episode. Can't wait to see what happens in the newly forming WDEU with Rick and the others. Mary Cherkeckia, 3.5. Jim is going to lose his voice after reading all these busters out of 5. Thank you, Mary, for thinking of me. I appreciate that.
Jim is a professional. He's used to it.
I'm just keeping hydrated. I expected more. I expected better. I expected at least a Carl Lori flashback. I get that going forward. All the ones that survive will be his family, but for 4 solid episodes, all we heard from him was how he's doing everything for Carl. But as moment of pending death, not a single thought. I love seeing Herschel. That was the tug of my heartstrings for Scott Wilson. And who didn't laugh at the Shane hallucination? Sasha felt so misplaced for me. I was hoping for Dale or T-Dog. Can you imagine Dale not driving up in his RV? I hate to admit it, but Judith is so adorable and badass. Karen Shee wrote in 3 white horses out of 5. I'm conflicted. I love all the acting in the episode, but I felt Gimple smarmy manipulative fingerprints all over it, as if he's saying you're supposed to feel this emotion here. You're supposed to just accept this contrived turnaround of Negan's character there, without actually earning any of those beats. I love seeing Bernthal return. He's such a damn good actor and slipped right back in the role of Shane. The tears came when Scott Wilson appeared on screen, though it would have been better to keep those cameos under wraps. Why did AMC blatantly promote the return? My heart also ached when Michonne reminded Rick of the phrase, we don't die, and told him that she loved him. But I was very disappointed with the Negan and Maggie encounter. It was so rushed and unbelievable. It seems like the writers tried to capture the essence of what happens in the comics, but I think they missed the mark completely. Such a damn shame, since this was also Lauren Cohen's exit from the show. So, great actors and acting for a mediocre script. Richard Chopper Cherry Charrington, the Marathon Man, 5. Goodbye, but only for now. Rick Grimes out of 5. Fantastic episode overall, and I, for one, appreciated Rick's exit. It was nice to see the late Scott Wilson again. It's just a pity there wasn't a few more of the old cast appearing in this episode, but nice to see the helicopter finally playing a part, and I'm eagerly awaiting the spin-off movies. Looking forward to see where the time jump takes us next week. Andy Peterson, 4.5 Deus Ex Machina endings out of 5. I was really concerned that the dream sequences advertised would be unintelligible, but they made sense and were a welcome reminder of many loved characters and how the story is built on the contributions of them. Even the helicopter evacuation was well-timed to still allow closure. So excited for the time jump story in next episodes. Bravo. Rob Cook, 5 old school busters, kicking it old school, out of 5 in recognition of the callbacks to season 1, episode 1. What a fantastic send-off. Okay, so the fake death was a bit corny, but we didn't really want him killed off, did we? Now we can't wait for the Rick Grimes films. In other words, I thought the Negan scene was brilliant. In other news, I thought the Negan scene was brilliant. Can't wait for next week to see how our gang has fared after 6 years. What a ride. A lot of different opinions. Scott Hoban, 3 AMC studio films out of 5. Glad they kept the visions and flashbacks to a minimum. Love the ones with Shane. Makes me wish he was still on the show, and cool to sell that Judith is really his daughter. Didn't get the one with Sasha at all. Where the heck was Carl, Lori, and Glenn? And taking Rick was very obvious after last week, but still thought it was good. Although we know the group is within walking range and a short helicopter ride, we're supposed to believe Rick was taken there and never tried to return to the group over all these years. Rick Grimes, if still alive, would have found his way back. I get Rick not wanting the walkers to all get across the bridge, but he couldn't keep walking away and let them collapse it themselves or just shoot the dynamite from further away. It didn't seem like he had to try and sacrifice himself in that situation. Even though it wasn't real, I thought it was cool when the whole group came running in to help him on the bridge. Not crazy about Maggie and Negan in this episode, all that. She doesn't just kill a dude. Come on. While the new time jump does look interesting, it makes these last 5 episodes seem like a complete waste. We do a time jump, build a bridge, and right away do another time jump. I am interested to see what new movie shows miniseries AMC comes out with, but I'd much rather see Rick in the show than in a movie. Okay, keep going. Marianne Corridor, 5. We don't die. We get to come back out of 5. And guess what? Rick is coming back in a feature film. Picture this: the trash helicopter that's carrying a wounded Rick and Jadis touch down on a camp far, far away, and Rick is greeted by Madison. Just a thought. Anyway, I'm conflicted about this episode. Got some news for you about Madison, Marianne. If you've been watching The Fear, you might want to catch up with that. What I loved were the scenes with Shane and Herschel. What I didn't love was how Sasha was in a weird game of Pop Knows the Dead Person. I just don't understand why Sasha was a symbol of wisdom. Pop goes to dead person. That sounds like a fun game. It should have been Glenn. He was always the voice of reason, the first person Rick met on the journey to find his family. Speaking of family, where was Carl? The Michonne scenes are beautiful. I did tear up when I watched Maggie and Carol hold her back while the bridge burned. I also loved at the end we got a time jump and we're introduced to Judith. Judith Grimes. Da-da-da-da. I'm excited to see the evolution of Judith and how she keeps the legacy of her father alive. I've not read the comics. I'm interested to see the story arc with the Whispers that everyone keeps talking about. In the end, we will carry on and continue without Rick because we will do it together.
Together.
Johnny Stower, who I missed somehow last week. Sorry, Johnny. 5, I called it in the trailer. The bloody boots are Rick's out of 5. I like how they did Rick. I'm happy he didn't die. Now, the only thing I'm thinking about is everyone knows damn well he would make his way back to them, so I have an A and B theory. See what I did there? A, he has amnesia and Jade has tricked him into thinking he's married to her, kind of like that Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell movie. Or B, which I'm leaning more towards, they're a long freaking away from the Alexandria zone. What if they're not even on the North American continent or overseas, so it's impossible to come back, and that's why it's been 6 years. They could have outposts along the way to the camp to refuel hospital supplies, or if the Saviors had. Either way, when he comes back for sure, that will end the series, maybe in my opinion. Also, they found Rick's gun with Judith had. Freaking way, that kid could shoot that gun, but then again, she played young Ren in Star Wars, so who knows? The magazine, I'm happy took place because now, because like reported, that happens sort of like that in the comics. I'm glad they cleared that up. Can't wait for the next setup of the next baddies. I think they're going to do real creepy shit coming up that will surprise us. Let's face it, so much more to comment about. I'll stop there. Guys, the show is back. Sorry I missed you last week, buddy. Tammy Heisley. Maybe it was all the nostalgia, but this is the first episode of the season I fully enjoyed. Rick's send-off story had a nice twist. I like the idea of seeing the story continue in the movies. Love the time jump at the end. I think this is exactly what the show needs because, to be honest, I've been bored like for 2 seasons. And look at Judith. I'm actually excited to see what is next. 5 busters. Okay, I need to drink before this one. Yukiyoshi Sawada. Settle in, everybody. 10 6-year time jumps out of 5. Wait, does that mean 60 years have passed or 65? Screw you, math. 1, Rick MacGyvering himself out of the impale. Classic Rick Grimes. 2, great to see Shane again reminding us that it all started with 2 friends stopping bank robbers. Loved how Herschel told Rick that the Green family is strong despite his clan basically being wiped out. And of course, the powerful bond between Rick and Sasha. Wait, that's not right. I mean, I know AMC blew up the Chandler Riggs bridge, but couldn't they get Sarah Wayne Callies to come by? Didn't anyone even ask Steven Yeun if he wanted to be a part of this? Sarah Williams is just so random. What I'm saying is, like Stan Lee, I love cameos. 3, good talk between Maggie and Michonne. The foreshadowing of Maggie telling Michonne she would feel different if Rick died was on point. 4, Maggie and Negan scene was straight out of the comics, only better. 5, what was the group saying Rick was a hallucination? What, the group saying Rick was a hallucination? I fell for it. I once thought he said, I found you. I was going to succumb to his wound. Tricky writers. Also, Kathy, we may not have known a lot about you, and you did go all vigilante on the Saviors, but you supported the United Community Alliance, as I call it, and so, Kathy, we give you mercy. 6, knowing there are too many walkers, Rick blows up the bridge with him still on it. Classic Rick Grimes. 7, I told you he wasn't going to die, even though I never liked the going with the Anne and her copter crew idea, but for some reason I really liked how they handled this. Also, the music used to send Rick off is the same song used in the pilot where Rick was trapped in the tank. Don't worry, Rick Grimes will return. Oh, don't worry, Rick Grimes will return in Walking Dead Infinity Wars Part 2. 8, it's Squad Magna. Yes, I was wondering when they would show up. 9, oh, it's 9-year-old Judith. Okay, that makes sense. What? 10, but seriously, this episode is magnificent, the best they've ever done. I think Angela Kang is doing masterfully as a showrunner. A second time jump, I did not see that coming. Can't wait to see how things have changed since everyone thinks Rick has died. Maggie knowing that because of her need for justice, got a family member killed. Kid Judith looks awesome in her brother's hat, her dad's gun, and Minnie Katana like her mom. This is the era of little ass kicker. So excited to see what comes next. Bonus, alas, though, like Andrew Lincoln, I too will be taking my leave. This will be my last annoying long report on this page. So with that, Mr. Deeds, please read my last Kanpai.
Why is it your last?
I don't know.
He's only going to comment on the movies.
Okay. And Darren Apple ends it all with 5 Rick's boots can finally die out of 5. And those are your Buster ratings for this integral episode. If you would like to join our Walking Dead Facebook group, we'd love to have you. It is called the Walking Dead TV Podcast Facebook group, oddly enough. And we would love to have you join. We have some articles here about what happened to Heath. We got nice pictures of Judith. And like I said, we also have links to Aaron's write-ups of each episode as he writes for them on WeLiveEntertainment.com. So join the Facebook group, get in on the action, have a lot of fun.
Or send us an email if you don't want to do the Facebooks. WDTV@hhwlod.com.
Absolutely.
Do we still have our voicemail line? Is that still a thing?
You know, technically, Brad, funny enough, Brad emailed me the other day and said it is still up and running.
I'd love to get some Milo minutes on this, actually. We should get more of that on this show. Here
Yeah,
so, I mean, I like hearing what children say about The Walking Dead, so it's good to, to take in some messages.
Hey, yeah, I'll get that from him in the next episode. I'll re-give out the number since I don't have it handy.
Did you like hearing Lang Chung again? We didn't ask that. Did you like hearing Lang Chung at the end of the episode when Rick's flying off into the distance?
I'm a child of the 80s. I'm always down with some white
Yeah, can that ever be a bad thing?
No, I thought it was cute. I was like, oh, they're playing that song again.
Yep. So, I guess that wraps up this episode of the Walking Dead TV Podcast. Gentlemen, you want to let everybody know where else they can find you on the interwebs? How about you, Aaron?
If you want to hear me complain a lot more about things, we talked about Bohemian Rhapsody on this week's episode. I'm now there and Abe. That is the podcast that I co-host with my friend Abe. We talk about the weekly movie releases. We talk about all the movies that are coming out, as well as doing fun commentary tracks with friend of the show, Jim Dietz, who's on fairly frequently when we do those. We have a lot of bonus episodes, but yeah, a lot of fun there. What else? You can find all my writing over at WeLiveEntertainment.com. I write my Walking Dead reviews as well as my weekly movie reviews, my daily movie reviews. A lot of stuff coming out, daily movie reviews. And you can find me on Twitter at Aaron'sPS4.
Are you going to be doing a podcast episode about Overlord?
We will talk. I've seen Overlord. I've seen a zombie who really likes it. I should post that review on the Facebook page. It is well worth seeing, I will say. But yes, we'll be discussing it this week.
I'm very excited to see that. It looks great. Mr. Daryl Taylor.
You can just follow me on Twitter at thevoice123. You can also just go to the website TaylorNetworkPodcast.com, and of course you can hear me and Jim and Donnie on Nothing's On, and me and Russ on Gotham by Geeks and all that fun stuff. So check me there.
Yeah, TaylorNetworkPodcast.com has it all. Rich.
Well, not much on right now. Work has got me really, which is why I haven't been around the last few weeks. But you can follow me on all the socials at Chumptoad01.
Yeah, he's Chumptoad starting a home for wayward girls. He's helping them get their start. Russ.
You can just same place you get this podcast, hhwled.com for It's All Connected, as well as the aforementioned podcast with Mr. Taylor, Gotham by Geeks on his network.
Awesome, and I have a special plug to plug this week. This weekend, as part of Extra Life, and I don't know if anybody knows who that is or what that is, it's a bunch of gamers all over the world, all over the country, raising money for children's hospitals, video gamers, tabletop gamers, and arcade RPGs. What we're doing is from my other website, oldmagicgaming.com. We're getting some all-stars from both of our podcasts. We're going to gaming marathon from 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. this Saturday on Twitch. Go to twitch.tv, look for the channel called Yoda Jones. You'll see a picture of Ben Grimm from the Fantastic Four. He's my favorite character. And just click on that, and you can watch us live stream Saturday Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. and donate to Extra Life to help out children's hospitals. We're going to be giving away cool prizes to people who donate. We're going to have like a drawing, I think, every hour for some cool gaming and geek-related prizes from the people who do donate. We've already got a few donations already. We haven't even started, so that's totally awesome. So come watch us play some games. There's going to be some video games going on as well as some RPG, and it's a great way to raise money and have fun all at once. That's twitch.tv.